Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of Addington News, brought to you out of the Brecon Winning Owners Bar. Got a couple of decent races this Thursday night, an important night for the industry too, Darren, because it's the Murray and Kelly Edmunds race night. We know Murray hasn't been 100% health-wise, and another great example of why we love being involved in this sport, everyone getting behind it. I was talking to Stevie Golding yesterday. It's about 100 raffle prizes and about 45 auction items. It's going to be a bit of money raised on Thursday.
Yeah, the team, Amy Edmonds, Stevie and Sandy Curtin have done a great job, but not only them, everyone else has supported this. Pretty humble people, Murray and Kelly, and I know that they'll be a bit...
well, they'll feel awkward about it, won't they?
Yeah, but it just shows you what the industry can do and support each other when these things happen. And we're delighted to have them on course and try and lend a hand.
Yep, got their name associated with race number 2. The Edmunds family thanks the community, no question about that at all. Just before we get into some of the preview for Thursday night, what happened last week turnover-wise?
Turnover was okay. That's all I'd say about that. We didn't have enough horses. We need some more horses.
Got a few more this week, mate. 11 races.
Yeah, this week's good. We'd love to drop those into a Friday night instead of a Thursday, but we'll go okay this week. Look, the turnover was just shy of 900,000. It was 9,000 a horse, which is still pretty solid. Unfortunately, the margin was only 12%. Right. So it did mean that we lost some money last week, as we say, swings and roundabouts. There will be peaks and troughs, but it wasn't a great week at the end of the race meeting last week for the club or for the code. Was for the punters though, because they managed to get the bookies again. Yep,
absolutely they did. You might be wondering why I'm standing here in a tie, but it's because the box seat's back, mate. So got a bit dressed up for it today. In fact, Michael Guerin and I have decided it's a tie affair, so we'll be wearing a tie every week on the show.
No, brilliant. It's great to have it back on our screens. It'll be on the Addington site under the racing section as quickly as we can get it up there, and it's our weekly window into harness racing where you can sit down with a beer or a coffee or a tea or something and soak it up. Obviously it's on trackside at a variety of times.
Yeah, so what we've done this year is we've decided to make it more about preview. With the way the internet's gone and Twitter and Nigel Armstrong and the work that he does and others as well, a lot of that post-race stuff is already out there. So 5 days later, it's a bit pointless having it on. So we'll have some of that stuff when there's a point of difference, but in the main, we'll be doing a preview, which suits the TAB as well, who play it on trackside for us. So spoke to Glenn Bourne, our producer, about that, and we've decided that we will record on a Wednesday morning. That also allows us to get the markets for the features out, so that we can talk about them and give you an insight into where we think you should be placing your money. So it should be out on YouTube on a Wednesday later on, 6, 7 o'clock on a Wednesday, and then it plays out on trackside on a Thursday morning at 9 a.m. So if you want to MySky that's all cool. But if you want to sit there like you used to, Darren, at 8:30 on a Wednesday night, it'll be on YouTube. So most of you have got smart TVs, just go YouTube, box seat, bang, it'll be there.
100%, you can just watch it as you normally do, and as we say, we're driving as much interest back to our own website, and that'll be on there as all the punting information and everything is. So,
hey, something cool that we talked about on the show today was the IRT Parade of Champions. Now, that's awesome, mate. Like, to have the New Zealand Cup won 9 times, 3 different horses, Monkey King, obviously Terror to Love winning it 3 times in Lazarus, and having them on New Zealand Cup Day, parading in front of the crowd. Well done to you and everyone else associated with it. Crusader horsemen are going to be there, and you can talk more about it because you know more about it, but gee, it's going to be fantastic. We don't get to see these former stars of the track back on track very often.
No, so as we're doing that, I'll let you, this is the homepage of our website, and there's a menu over there which Greg's going to just show you where the news and media section is of the website. So as we build to New Zealand Cup, there will be a whole lot of information here, so it's another thing just to have a look at. And as you say, this is what we announced this week as part of Cup Day this year. So a Parade of Champions will be led by the Crusader Guardians, 6 horsemen, which rev the crowd up, as we know, we love that. Very Canterbury, and something that we want to celebrate by having people back on course. Terror to Love, Monkey King and Lazarus all appearing on course. They will be parading, they won't be racing, they'll be walking.
I'll tell you what, they're probably be pretty keen to start in the great race.
Yeah, Monkey King, he's the oldest of them at 19. Yep. They've won more than 100 races. They've won more than $10.5 million in stakes.
Remarkable.
And they've won 7 New Zealand Cups.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the cup.
What did I say? 9 before. Apologies. 7.
The cup will be led out. Will be brought to the presentation area in a vehicle, which will be announced in due course by our winningest driver in the New Zealand Cup, Ricky May.
Yeah, pretty special.
Yeah, so look, it'll be cool. It's just something that we can celebrate these horses. They are looked after, as we say. Monkey King's in the cart most of the time. The other two have other activities that they keep themselves involved with at the start.
Yeah.
But they will be put back in the cart for the day. And anyone that we've spoken to about this, all of the trainers, all of the participants have been outstanding. They're very keen to give us a hand with this, to make it safe. And anyone I've spoken to is pretty keen to see champions on course. So that's great.
Absolutely. Champion status. Well, Lazarus won the Derby here, and the Derby and Oaks nominations are closed.
Yeah, so that information will go out to trainers and owners and things this week.
They open this week, don't they?
They open this week. They close on the 12th of October, so there's a wee bit of time.
Both run on the 4th of December.
Both run as part of the Grand Prix meeting on the 4th of December. There are packages available. Going back to the Addington side and through the events page, there's packages available to purchase for hospitality on that day. 8 Group 1 races is going to be a beauty. But yeah, just a reminder that the Pacing Oaks and the Pacing Derby we're taking pre-nominations for. The Trotting Derby and Trotting Oaks we won't, because there's less numbers of those. And the Aces races, which are a version of the 2-year-old duels, there's no prepayment for those either. They're a free entry race, but they have similar duels conditions.
And you can see that at HRNZ.
The league tables are on there now.
Yep, beautiful. Right, let's go back to last week, have a look at a couple of key results. Here was the trot taken out by Enhine. Darren Eden won for 3 years. Let's get into this and have a look at the start of the race. You need to see what Matuatana was doing, because he is lengths behind them over the short course. His performance later on in the race is nothing short of staggering. Here is Enhine coming outside Majestic Man, who's been in terrific form. Now, his record over the 1980 going into this race was 9 wins from 10 starts. This night, he comes out, sits outside him, the Dominator's in front, Majestic Lazarus is fresh up, goes a very good race, and Matuatana down the outside. Stunning racetrack performance from him to get as close as he did. Have a look at him power up. Like, that's the Enhine of old. That's the Enhine who won both derbies as a 3-year-old, won the duels, and just powers away here. If that form, or that version of him, can stay sound and stay in that sort of form building towards Cup Week and beyond, because the New Zealand Trotting Free-for-all, of course, is on the 4th of December, then we've got a lot to look forward to from him. Of course, none of the 3 big guns, his stablemate Muscle Mountain, obviously Sunday Sun, who'll be looking to win another Dominion. He's going to be very hard to beat, as his Bolt for Brilliance, but can't go any better than what he did, and sectionally outstanding. But I think there's a horse to follow for us, Matuatana, on Sunday in the DG Jones.
Yeah, Chief of Staff wasn't the worst in behind them. He carried on to take improvement in fitness with that. He was looking for a wee bit of room. Gap was probably going a little bit quicker than him was towards the end, but I think he'll take a bit of heart out of that race as well. Of course, he ran 4th in the Dominion last year.
The Telfer team are going well. Yeah, they're having a bit of fun, as was the case last week too. This is Artie's Express, absolutely dominating them in the Woodlands Sire Stakes. And you just jumped a wee bit far forward there, Darren. We'll just go slightly back here. Here he is coming into the straight. She is, rather. She won the Neville Heat the week before, and she's just come out. This is Mossdale Ben. Don Maro further back here. Look at the way she runs to the line. Like, she's now a hot favourite to win the Neville Fillies final, and she just gets away. He's a fair horse, this guy, as is he. So for her to do that to them, quite remarkable. So yep, their team is low flying. They lead the premiership by about 16. That might change a wee bit in the next couple of weeks with the All Stars rocking a few more out. But yeah, excellent performance from him last Thursday.
I think the Telfer team, Greg, are at $1 to win the premiership. Mark Purden, I think, at about $5. So they really do have the firepower. They've got the numbers, and on top of that, they've got a bunch of
and All American Lover. How good was she? She's nominated for the IRT New Zealand Cup. She won too. So yep, they're certainly racing in great form at the moment. Here's an opportunity for people to get involved in this competition.
Yeah, so SEN Survivor, if you haven't heard of this, it's part of the SEN Radio Network. They're normally Australian competitions. This one's a New Zealand only one. effectively you just go to SEN or SEN Survivor. If you Google it, you'll find it anyway. sensurvivor.com.au. You can win yourself a $100 Mitre 10 voucher on the race meetings leading up to the Cup for each individual night winner, and those people go in the draw for a table for 10 on Cup Day.
Yeah, well, that's a huge prize. I mean, that would have to be worth $5,000.
It's worth a bit of money, Greg, because
I reckon they pay about $450, $500 for them. So I'd say $5,000. Let's go with that.
We're working on exactly which room that will be in.
Yep, it'll be somewhere in that facility.
Those people. Effectively, you log in. It's a survivor. Really simple. You need to pick a place getter in each race. You pick a place getter in race 1. If it gets placed, you survive to race 2.
Yep.
So I think last week was the first week with not a lot of promotion, and we had about 140 in there.
Yep.
Once your picks are done and selected, they all have some little holes that they fill in. They either go green or red, depending on how you're going, and you try to get a line of green. The winner last week got through to the 8th race.
Not a bad effort. I'll tell you what, it's pretty hard. It's actually not that easy. You think, oh yeah, this will be easy. No, it's not.
No, not
so,
easy.
No, great competition. So looking forward to seeing that each and every week. All right, we're going to have a full preview of the Murray and Kelly Edmunds race night on Thursday night. Wouldn't it be appropriate if Watching Our Coin could win race number 5? I think it's a great chance from a good draw. And Franco Indy's back, the Sire Stakes winner, so looking forward to seeing him. He looks very hard to beat too. Darren and I will be back very shortly with a full meeting preview.
All right, let's get into the full meeting preview. An exciting night, as we say. Kelly and Murray Edmunds race night. There's going to be a big crew upstairs. They're going to have a lot of fun. Spectators open after the last race. Bit unusual being a Thursday, Greg. We've also got the Greyhounds, the dual code with them. So it's going to be a lot happening and a couple of feature races amongst us. So it's going to be good fun. Get underway at 5:16. IRT, Your Horse, Our Passion. Mobile pace 1980.
Yeah, Dream Prospect, the one you'll find away on top, I think, of most people's selections and with the bookmakers, has been really good at the trials, got a really strong following, I'm sure, off the back of the most recent trial win over race rival in Spandal, who's trained by Ken Barron. Couple in the race for him. He's got Crystalline as well. So expect Dream Prospect to win even from the wide front row draw. More Good has been excellent in 4 races to date for Andrew Stewart. His team is racing really well. Expect another good performance from it. Valiant Angel's gone okay in its couple of runs, and Crystalline's always pretty consistent. I'll go 7, 6, 5 and 3, but the 7 stands out in race 1.
Race number 2 is the first leg of the early quaddie, the Edmonds family. Thanks everyone. Handicap trot 2600, 548.
Yeah, really like It's So Easy here. If she brings her best manners, she'll win this. She was good behind Benny and the Jets last time. I reckon if she can have one run at them, or if she in fact steps really good from the unruly and works her way to the front, either way, I think she's the one to beat. West Star Millie will give you a good sight, Ben, for Greg and Nina, team racing really well. Great to see Enheim back winning last week. Sonoma Tyrone was good first up, trained by master trainer Pat O'Reilly. Jared is doing the steering, and Sassy Stars won 2 of her last 3, so she's in good form. But yeah, I think it's So Easy's race to lose, although there is always a bit of trepidation around the start with her.
Race 3, Woodland Stud, Supporting Our Future, mobile pace 1980 at 6:17, Greg, and a partnership will be announced this week between Woodland Stud and Addington Raceway, which will secure naming rights to all of the fillies and mares races that we hold here that aren't already with a sponsor, something that Woodlands hold dear to their heart, and we do as well, to try and get those fillies and mares races off the ground. It's going to be a bit of fun going forward. Their name will be popping up a wee bit like First Direct taxis all over the place.
Yeah, which is great. And they're huge supporters of the sport. I know with my own show, The Box Seat, they've been a huge sponsors of that for, well past a decade. So great to see them getting behind the fillies and mares races, which makes sense, doesn't it? Because they're so heavily involved in the stud game. Treacherous Gal by Captain Treacherous, 2 from 2. Regan Todd, Robbie Close has trialled nicely without winning. But she's good. She's very smart. It's a good race, this. Artie by the Seaside, Cardi B, who showed so much and has been good at the workouts recently. And I don't mind Take It Out from the Jared O'Reilly barn. Inside second row follows out Carmelite. Not an ideal draw, but gee, she was good first up too. And she's also by Captain Treacherous. But I'll go 8, 6, 7 and 9 in race 3. But there'll be a bit of form to come out of this one.
Yes, Greg, at the moment, if you've got Artie in your name, you go okay. Doesn't matter which gate, doesn't matter how high or old you are, they go
correct.
okay. Race number 4 is the Canterbury Spa and Pool Size Stakes Mobile Trot. The Magnifique. This is a Group 3 race at 1,980 metres at 6:49. And of course, Gary Woodham and family sponsoring this race with their company. So appreciate that on course.
Yeah, very much so. And they've got a new super stable coming out. I understand the prize will be a spa from this very establishment. So look out for that at HRNZ. A lot of winning form in this race, including an unbeaten filly and hidden talent. And I spoke to Phil Williamson about his son Nathan's horse, by Bacardi Lindy out of Juliana. So there's a lot of breeding there. The Grice's breed, and Dark Horse was out of this mare, was a foal to this one actually, and she looks like she's inherited a fair bit of that ability, because ran past Minnie McGugan last time and did it in good style. Minnie McGugan's in this race as well, but this is a really interesting race. Brad Williamson has mixed faith in it. Matthew Part owns Minnie McGugan. Alatine's out of Alapal, more appropriately. How would there be a better win on the night than this? Trained by Craig Edmunds, Craig and Amy. And she's racing well, this filly by Creatine. A lot of breeding about her. And Phil Williamson has Majestic Love in it, which is out of Love, Hate, Revenge. So there's so much breeding in this race, let alone trying to find the winner. I haven't even mentioned the one I think will win. Paramount Empress. Really loved everything she's done at the trials. Well schooled, and a lot of breeding about her out of Paramount Queen by Muscle Hill. I'm expecting a lot from this filly. I can actually see her, Darren, being one of the favourites, or she already is, for the Oaks, around $7. If she wins this race first up, then she'll be even shorter than that. So I'll go for her on top of Hidden Talent, Alatine, Mixed Faith, Minnie McGugan, Majestic Love. The list goes on and on. But I'll go with Paramount Empress, because I think she's got a big future ahead of her.
Race 5 is the last leg of that early quaddie. Sam Keenan, tennis coach, mobile pace, 2,600 at 7:20. 3 horses for Murray Edmonds in this race. Come on, Muzz, give us a win.
Yeah, I think he can too. I think Watching Our Coin can win it from a nice handy barrier draw. Jared O'Reilly to do the steering. There'll be people just cheering for these horses. I'll tell you what, get back. It's not without a chance. See, that's been raced super. She won 2 back. And look, if the race pans out for her, I reckon the 2,600 metres is more to her liking. So I definitely give her a good chance. Ascento is a handy sort of mare for Dave Thompson. I'm sure it'll go well. And A Patch of Gold's been racing excellent for a wee while. So there's a few in this, Darren, with a chance, but I'll be cheering for Watching Our Coin. I reckon it's a massive chance of winning race number 5.
Race number 6 is the Lamb and Hayward Mobile Trot, 1980. At 7:50.
Yeah, gone with Crackling here. Brad Williamson trains, filly by What the Hill, out of Donegal Bettegretch, who of course was a Group 1 winner of a duel. There was a lot to like about her first 2 race day appearances. She's been to the trials, to fit her for this. She showed good early speed in her races. I reckon she'll show it here as well, and I reckon she'll take some beatings. So I'm happy to be with Crackling. Over Air I Will, who'll get off the machine quickly, went straight to the lead last time. I reckon the same thing could happen here. Aroha Kenny has got all the breeding about it. It's trained by Phil Williamson, Matthew doing the steering, and Lazarus did enough in its last campaign to suggest that it's not the worst here. 5, 4, 1 and 8 in race number 6.
Race number 7 is the Graphite Developments Futurity Prelude. It's the first of these, Greg, for these horses that will start on show day in the Prelude. Glennis and Philip Kennard involved with this company, of course, and assisting us with the race. 2,600 metres at 8:20.
Yeah, and it's a great series, always was or has been. And of course, we struggled a wee bit for numbers this time, but thanks to the people who did get in behind the race, I reckon Teresa Love can win again. Why wouldn't it just press forward, get the lead like it did last time? Sure, it's a little bit further this time, was the 1980 at her last appearance, but she should have won her first race as well. So I reckon she's the one that you need on top, ahead of the Robert and Jenna Dunn team. I'm Your Huckleberry, who John's decided to drive, and Bark, who was excellent on debut, but very green, lot to learn. He could just come out and win, Bark. He might be the sort of horse that ends up in the middle grades before the end of the season even. That's how quickly I think he might progress, or he might take a little bit more learning and thinking about it. But he could very much be one of the horses to beat, and the TAB have got a market out for that Futurity final. So I'll go 8-3-7, and then Rita Bonita for Jeff and James Dunn. Team's been racing really well, although they've had a setback, obviously, Labour coming out of the Cup, and they've had a bit of a bug. Rita Bonita's much better than that last start performance. So put her in. 8-3-7 and 2.
Small field, Greg, but a lot of talent there, and Me Too was good first up, and so was Sirius. So, a lot of talent in the futurity going
probably
forward.
Sirius is the one I've left out, Darren, and I'll probably do so at my own peril.
You can't have them all, but as I say, there's a smaller group of nominations for the race, but still solid and a lot of talent amongst them. So, looking forward to that series. Race 8's the first leg of that late quaddie, Hydroflow handicap trot, 2600 at 850.
Yeah, and if you've watched any previews or the Addington news over the last 12 months, you would have heard me going on about just about every Royal Aspirations that goes around. But why wouldn't you? Because they're flying. Royal Dell was excellent first up. He's a real talent, this horse. He's already won 5 races, and I reckon he can win this one too. Great each-way chance. Race 8, number 5, Royal Dell. His 4th in behind Artie by the Hill. Go back and have a look at it on HRNZ, and you'll enjoy the ride, if you like, the last 100 metres. If he can get a better and more economical trip here, he can win this for sure. The Fox been racing against the best ones. Mataderos, Enhine, so he drops back in grade here. Fighting Fire is better than his form line would suggest. Just manners-wise, he needs to bring the best to Addington Raceway this week. With Ice back there on the back marker 20 alongside the Fox and Fighting Fire. And off the front, Benny and the Jets might be the most progressive in the race. Only had the 3 starts for Coast to Hare, but couldn't it be more impressive fresh up, Darren? 5, 8, 7 and 4.
Race 9, a reminder again, Cup Week tickets selling fast, mobile pace, all those tickets at addington.co.nz, 2600 at 920, Greg.
Yeah, good race. Really good race, this. Sire Stakes winner, Franco Indy returns. He's trialled up nicely. When you look at his trial form in behind Ultra Wise Guy and All American Lover, what have they been doing lately? Absolutely low flying. So, I reckon he can win this fresh up. Natalie Rasmussen takes the drive, and he gets into this race beautifully, I think. So Franco Indy on top of Franco Mac, who definitely needed that first up run, probably likely to go forward, as will Magic 4, who's 2 from 2. This time in for Team Dunn. Off the back row, steal the show from the same barn. Blair Orange takes the drive, and you go through his form line. Mikey Maguire, he's a Sport Ultra Wise Guy. So, he's coming out of those 2 automatic entry races here at Addington, the Morris Holmes and the New Brighton Cup. So outside second row, probably not the worst over the 2600 metres. I've left out Bollinger. I thought he was okay last time. He'll probably lift, but he'll need to, because this is a deep, deep race. 7, 5, 4, 13.
Race number 10, Jed, exciting start to this series. The Woodland Stud Sire Stakes, heat number 1, mobile 1980 at 9:45. And this one for maidens, Greg, but gee, some of these aren't going to be maidens for long.
No, and it's dominated by the All-Stars team of Mark Purdon and Hayden Cullen. Sherlock's been doing some things at the trials that most maidens don't, and that makes him the horse to beat here. But the back row draw evens things up a wee bit. I've been impressed by his stablemate Carrera Rapido. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. OK Boomers in this race from the same stable. Wish Me Luck's in this race too. So numerically, they have a big advantage. Holy Hecker bolted in his most recent trial. And Who's Delight is a horse, probably doesn't have the ring craft to win this race this week, but may well end up going around in some much better races through his 2 and into his 3-year-old. He looks a horse of real ability. I reckon Carrera Rapido might be able to beat Sherlock here, but both horses will be looking to qualify for the big dance on Cup Day, and therefore they can quinella it. I've left out a horse like McKendrick, who's looked good in its 2 starts, Darren. Franco Mecca was good last time at Oamaru behind stablemate Watermelon Sugar. So good race, isn't it? Race 10.
The last race, race 11 on a big program, the first direct taxis mobile pace, 2600, and that finishes at 10, or starts at 10:15.
Yeah, I think the Stephen Amanda Telfer barn will dominate this last. Show Me Heaven was excellent winning fresh up, and Matt Major, last start performance was in the Supremacy, where he raced wide on the track and wasn't very tractable. He's smart enough to win this, even from the outside, and the 2600 metres negates that somewhat. So 8 and 9, give the 12, which is Revered, a chance. Mark Purdon doing the steering, of course, out of their All-Stars barn. He is capable of winning a race like this, but he's also let us down a few times. And then I'm sort of around invitation only, come together, those types of horses. But I think the Telfer team are the ones to follow in the last. Gee, it's a good program, Darren, for a Thursday. It leads into Alexandra Park on Friday night, where they have the Group 1 Woodlands Caduceus Classic. A couple of Canterbury fillies up there, Love Struck, who finished third last week, and of course Millwood Nike. So yeah, there's some excellent racing that leads into Banks Peninsula on Sunday. But yeah, Addington sets the tone this week by starting on Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, as we say, good fun. Spectators open after the last. Greg, we're going to leave you with a video from the Canterbury Classic, and of course that race meeting with the Canterbury Classic is next week, Friday the 30th. We're going to have some music and spectators next week after the last. Anton will be there pleasing the crowd again, and it'll be a good race meeting next week. But we want to leave you with Lazarus winning the Canterbury Classic in 2016. He went on to be a champion, and a champion that we will see back on track on IRT New Zealand Cup Day as part of the Champions Parade. Greg, I guess people are starting to draw those comparisons. Is Akuta the next Lazarus? He's making all the steps in the right direction. I know there's a lot of chat about it. He's going in the right direction, isn't he?
Oh, and absolutely he is. Mark Purdon, in a piece that if you watch the box seat this week, you'll see, talks about Lazarus being the best he's ever sat behind. Now, he's not someone who would say that very often. In fact, I've never heard him say it before, and he's often said to me, please don't compare the horses from different eras. It's too hard. He did it himself. I didn't ask him. He said he's the best. He is the best. Akuta's performance to win the Hannon, just don't see that, Darren. I know we keep talking about him being 3, but in the old he'd be 4. You don't sit parked, older wise guy sitting in the trail behind Pembroke Playboy and still beat them, regardless of the time. They went 3:20, but you only have to go fast enough to win, and he was excellent. Look, it's going to be so tempting to put him in the Cup. Whether he gets there or not, I'm not sure, but I hope he does, because he'll add so much in the build-up to that great race. And Ian Dobson's contribution to the sport, yes, he's had success, but he spent a lot of money over a long period. So for him to have one last champion after winning the Cup with Mainland Banner, he's done just about everything in the sport, would be pretty special. So let's hope he's there.
Yeah, look, have a look down the rankings for the Cup and the Dominion. They're a bit mouthwatering, Greg, this year. There's a lot of depth in them. There's 3 or 4 big timers, if you like, but gee, the quality back to at the moment, what would be the 15th horse into the race is really, really good, and there's nothing wrong with the ones just behind it that are chasing a spot. So there's a lot of excitement, but we want to leave you with what was one of our great champions that we'll see on IRT New Zealand Cup Day, Lazarus, winning the 2016 Canterbury Classic.
5. Lazarus turns in. Chris and Me's going to pop the trail. 3 wide Smolder. Lazarus leads a length and a half. Chris and Me, Smolder. Then Mostel, Connor and Franco Nelson. Lazarus is in front. A length on Chris and Me. He won't get him. And Lazarus is going to win it. Lazarus wins the Classic by a length and is beaten home. Chris and Me, Smolder and Have Faith in Me. Then Franco Nelson, Mighty Flying Mac and Mostel, Connor all in a line. And Lockerburns run last.